Hi guys, let's have a quick review of trigonometry. To master the trigonometry, just remember the Sohcahtoa. As I told you before, the spelling is really important. It is S-O-H, then C-A-H-T-O-A, Sohcahtoa. So let's write one after the other. S-O-H. So S equals to O goes to numerator, H goes to the denominator. So here the S stands for sine theta, then O is opposite side to. Please do write in detail. Just don't write as opposite or opposite side. Instead, you mention opposite to what. That makes sense. Next, coming to the second one is CAH. C equals to A over H. So here C stands for cosine or cos theta. Then it is adjacent side to theta over hypotenuse. And the third one is TOA, that is tangent. T stands for here tangent, or in short, tan theta equals to opposite side to theta over adjacent side to theta. You know, when we talk about adjacent and opposite, then let me copy the diagram first. Let me label this as A, B, C. Okay, let me duplicate this one first because just a moment, let me copy this. Yeah, and minimize. Angle plays a vital role. Okay, which is suppose if the angle is given, let's say that let's say that the angle C is marked as theta or else some x. Okay, so let me take this as theta. So if this is theta, then this is going to be the opposite side. This is the opposite side. You know that the side opposite to 90 degrees is known as hypotenuse. So once when you can identify these two, then obviously the third side will be the adjacent side. The third side will be the adjacent side. In case if this is given, say angle A is marked as theta or whatever the values given, like 30 degrees, 40 degrees, and so on, then this is going to be your opposite side. This is going to be your opposite side. So you have to be really careful to identify which is opposite side and which is the adjacent side. Otherwise, you tend to make a mistake. Okay, this is going to be the third side, obviously the adjacent side. Okay, let's go to the next page. Well, these are the questions which you can expect in the testing. Here I see that two sides are given. One is 7 units and the other one is 5 units, and you are asked to find what is the value of the hypotenuse. Okay, I'll discuss the next question later. Here no angle is mentioned and you are asked to find the hypotenuse. Then you have to use the Pythagoras theorem. I love to write all the time the rules because when I keep writing this one again and again, what happens is that stays in my mind for a long time. So leg square or you can write it as maybe side square. It makes no difference. Leg square plus leg square equals to hypotenuse square. Hypotenuse square. Okay. Then here let me plug in these values. I see that one of the leg is given 5 and the other one is given as 7. Please don't forget the side opposite to 90 degrees. This is the hypotenuse. So just let me plug in the values here. Leg square is 5 square and the other one is 7 square here. That is equals to hypotenuse square. Let me write a little short here, hypo square. So 5 square, it is not 5 times 2. Several times I mentioned this one. Again, I'm repeating 5 square means it is not 5 times 2. It is 5 times 5. So 5 times 5 that gives us, that gives us 25, and 7 square that gives us 7 times 7 that gives us 49. Then when I combine, if you want, you can make use of calculator. You'll get 74. So hypotenuse square equals to 74. Then majority of the students they leave it as it is. But you know, the point is you have to eliminate. You have to eliminate the square part. You have to eliminate the square part. So the inverse operation of square. The inverse operation of square is the square root. The square root. Therefore, the value of here the value of hypotenuse is equals to square root of 74. At this point, we may not be able to solve further because we can't find square root of 74. But you know, in testing, usually you'll be seeing the answers like say 2 root 10, maybe 4 root 23, some numbers I'm taking randomly, and say 8, maybe 8, some 10 kind of things. So I know that my answer is not matching with any of these. I know that my answer is not matching with any of these. In such case, what I have to do is, you may convert them into decimals. Please convert this one into decimals using your calculator, then convert them into decimals, and also convert this value into decimals and check which of them is going to match. Anyhow, I know that these values are not correct. Just randomly I have taken some numbers. Okay, you may try converting them into decimals and then check which is matching. Well, next question is which is almost similar to the previous one. Say that this is, let me label the diagram. Say that here again you are asked to find one of the missing legs. I see that this leg is missing. So I like to write the formula again. Now let me plug in the values here. I know that one of the legs is 5 units, therefore it's going to be 5 square plus, I don't know what is the other leg. You see that in the diagram, this is missing, right? So let it be leg square. By the way, I know the value of the hypotenuse, which is 9 units here. Therefore, it's going to be 9 square. Now, please remember once again, it is 5 square is not 5 times 2, it is 5 times 5. 25 plus leg square equals to 9 square equals to 81. Now you know how to isolate. This leg square. We have to detach the values which are associated with that. So no sign. You can assume that it is positive. Go for inverse operation, which is subtraction of 25. Then positive 25, negative 25 gets cancelled. Then leg square equals to 81 minus 25. 81 minus 25. That gives me 56. As I mentioned in my previous question, majority of the students tend to forget the square part, so you don't make that mistake. So if you eliminate that square on one side, the other side you'll be getting square root. So let me move this one a little up so that I'll get more space. So the value of leg equals to, my bad. Okay, so the value of leg equals to square root of 56. Square root of 56. In my previous question, I did not explain, but if you take 56, let's say that 2 times 2, that gives me 4. So 2 times 28, then 2 times 14, then 2 times 7, until you get a prime number you can compute this way. So it is 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. Then I see that the square root of, if there is a pair, you can compute. So 2 times 2, that is 4. Square root of 4, that gives me 2. And 2 and 7, I don't see any pair here. So let it be 14. So the answer will be 2 square root of 14. That's the length of the one of the legs. Because during testing, if it is a multiple choice question, means if you have been given A, B, C, D, what you can do is, if you are given options this way, so what you can do is, you can convert square root of 56 into decimal, and whatever the numbers are given, like 2 root 13, 2 root 14, these kind of numbers, you can transform them into decimals using a calculator, and you can see whichever matches. But if there is a blanks, or if you have to express the answer, then this is the correct way of expressing. Okay, let's quickly jump to the next one. There are two scenarios here. I see that in the first one, you are asked to figure out what is the value of this one. And in the second question, you are asked to figure out what is the hypotenuse. Both seems to be same, but there is a slight difference between these two when you compute it. Okay. So what is the difference? I'll explain once when you start working on this. So let's take these two questions. First of all, you have to be very careful which trig ratio you have to use. Can I use the Pythagoras theorem here? At least I have to have two sides, but I see that one side is given, and the second side is not given. Even the hypotenuse is not given. So one side and one angle is given. In this kind of situations, then we'll be using the trig ratios. I see that. Let me label this as A, B, C. Angle C is given, and this one is. So let me write this one. This is the opposite side, and I know that this is hypotenuse. In fact, there is nothing to do with the hypotenuse in this question, so let me strike it because it is of no use. It leads unnecessary to some confusions. And the other side is, this is the adjacent side, because if you know what is hypotenuse, what is the opposite side, then you can identify what is the adjacent side. So I know that opposite side is given, adjacent side is given, these two are given. Then immediately let me think of Sohcahtoa, Sohcahtoa. So here is the first one is opposite O, and adjacent side means it is A. Where can I see this opposite and adjacent? No, not here. And adjacent hypotenuse, not here. opposite and adjacent? Yes, here it is, right? Therefore, I have to go for TOA. Okay, so please describe completely. So it is tan theta equals to, it is opposite side to, my bad, it's not, this is not theta. Instead of theta, then let me take this one is, I see that the angle is already mentioned. The angle is mentioned. So let's focus on this. That is tan C equals to opposite side to C over adjacent side to C. Again, I am repeating, you must take care of what are the letter or what are the angle is mentioned. So that one you mention in your formula. So you will never make a mistake. So here tan C means that is tan 52 degrees equals to opposite side is 3500 over adjacent, that is missing, so you can take it as x. Now find the value of tan 52 either using your TI-84 calculator or else using Desmos. Here I am using Desmos. So Desmos, you can Google it, then Desmos graphing, as simple as that. So let me close all these. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we are looking for tan 52 degrees. So you type using your keypad tan 52. I see that negative 6.05. But by default, this one gives you the radians. So go to the right top, graph settings, and then click here and change it to degrees. Change it to degrees. You see that now the values changed. So 1.2799. If you want, you can take after decimal just 2 digits or 3 digits, maybe 4 digits. It's up to you. So I'm taking here 4 digits, 1.2799. So let me go to this one. It is 1.2799 equals to 3500 over x. Always get rid of the denominator part first. So let me take the inverse operation of division, because x is in the denominator, which means that is dividing. So the inverse operation is multiplication. So just multiply by x on both the sides. So x and x gets cancelled, then you are left with 3500, then x times 1.2799. I'm sure you know how to cancel out this one. Sorry, yeah, x1. This one here, it is multiplying, so you go for the division on both the sides. Division on both the sides. So the value of x equals to, use your calculator, 3500 divided by 1.2799. So I'm taking my calculator, 3500 divided by 1.2799. It's giving me 2734.588. So I'm taking the nearest value, which is 2734.6 approximately. So that's the value of x. Again, in the next diagram, I'm taking more or less the same kind of question, and here I see that this is the opposite side. This is the opposite side, and this is hypotenuse. That's what the question is asking. Here there's nothing to do with the third side, so just I'm not writing any, because if you write it, that leads to unnecessary confusions. Now whenever I have to choose which trig ratio I have to take, always I write my keyword, that is Sohcahtoa. Please practice writing the spelling again and again. I know that opposite O is the first letter, hypotenuse is H. Therefore, O and H. Where can I find that? OH. Oh, here I found. There's no OH, there's no O and H, right? Therefore, I have to stick to this one, which is so SOH. So let me write that sine theta. Oh, here already angle is given, so let me label this one as maybe P, Q, R. So here I see that angle is given, right? So sine R, which is opposite side to R, please write in detail because this helps you to avoid a lot of mistakes. Over hypotenuse, sine 52 degrees, then opposite side is 3500 over hypotenuse. Here it is missing, which is PR, or you can take already have taken X in the previous one, so let me take a variable. I'm pretty sure you can find what is the value of sine 52 using Desmos, and you can plug in the values and you can continue working on this. Okay, so let's go to the next page. This question seems to be same as the previous one, but there is a slight difference as compared to the previous question, because majority of the students, when they see the diagram, immediately they say that this is the opposite side, but which is not true, because this time let me label this as maybe J K L, the same J K L. Here angle J is given, right? Therefore, KL is going to be the opposite side. This is going to be the opposite side, right? And you know what is the hypotenuse? And the third side will be obviously the adjacent side. Let me cancel out this one because we don't want, you are asked to find the adjacent side and you are given the hypotenuse value, right? So opposite, there's nothing to do with the opposite, so just I struck it. Now I see that adjacent and hypotenuse, always write Sohcahtoa, SOH, CAH, then TOA. So where do you find the adjacent and hypotenuse? So do I have adjacent and hypotenuse? No. Do I have adjacent and hypotenuse? Yes. Do I have adjacent and hypotenuse? No. Therefore I have to take cos, and here please don't forget to write this letter, which is where the angle is given. Therefore I'm taking Sohcahtoa, CAH. So cos, don't forget to mention the letter, which is cos J equals to adjacent side to, please do mention whatever the letter is given. Here I see that adjacent side to J over hypotenuse. Okay, so it is cos, whatever the angle is given, 27 degrees, adjacent side to J, I see that that is X, and what is hypotenuse means that is 200. Okay, so let me show how to solve this one. Go to Desmos. It is cos 27, so please do type here. It is COS 27 you see that 0.8910. So it is 0.8910 equals to x over 200. Always our focus is to get rid of the denominator. So denominator means division. So let me take times 200 on both the sides. This is pretty simple. X equals to 200 times 0.8910. Let me grab my calculator. 200 times 0.8910. That's giving me 178. 178. So that's the value of x. So the point is, in the previous question, I see that the angle is given here. So first of all, feel free to draw the arrow marks. That gives you a clear-cut idea which is opposite side, which is adjacent, and which is hypotenuse. Okay, so in this question, I see that the angle is given at the top. So you see that which is the opposite side, and so on. Once if you can identify what is opposite, you know what is hypotenuse, then easily you can figure out what is the third one, which is adjacent. So here again 27 degrees are given, and I know this is going to be the opposite side, and this is the hypotenuse. The longest side is the hypotenuse, and the third side is adjacent. I know adjacent, there's nothing to do with this question, so just I'm striking. Then here the first letter is O, and this is H. Okay, so think of Sohcahtoa. Please do write every time so that you will never make a mistake. So I'm looking at opposite, you can see that, and hypotenuse, therefore OH I see in sine. So I start writing sine. Please don't forget, please involve the angle also in the given formula. Sine j equals to opposite side to j over Sohcahtoa, SOH. So it is hypotenuse. Then sine 27 equals to, what is the opposite means? You can see that in the diagram this is x, hypotenuse is 200. Already I mentioned how to figure out the value of sine, cos, or tan using the Desmos calculator online, and then just plug in the values. That's it. And the last model is to figure out the angle, to figure out the missing angle. In this question, okay, let me duplicate this one. Maybe okay, so let me duplicate this one. Now triplicate it. So there are three. So let's say that well, I'm taking three questions which are more or less in the same way. So let me start with the second question, or let's take the first question. Here I see that two sides are given as one is 75 feet and 45 feet, and you are asked to find the missing angle, that is angle A equals to, what's the value of angle A? In the previous question, one angle, one side were given, and we computed the missing side, right? So here we are going in the reverse direction. That is, here the sides are given you are asked to find the angle. In the previous one side, one angle was given and you found the missing side. This time, sides are given, you are finding the missing angle. So how to compute this one means the same trig ratio. You may get a doubt, can I use Pythagorean theorem? Dear friend, if you use the Pythagorean theorem, you'll be able to find the missing side. But here you are asked to find the missing angle. So what I have to do is, let me identify that this is the angle I have to find, which is angle A, and I see that this is going to be my opposite side. This is going to be my opposite side, and the longest side is the hypotenuse. The leftover side is the adjacent side. There is nothing to do with hypotenuse in this question. Therefore, which trig ratio I have to use means Sohcahtoa. Every time you write Sohcahtoa. I know that the first one is adjacent and here opposite. Where can I find O and A? O and A, no. O and A, no. O and A, yes. Therefore, I have to go for the T O A. T equals to O over A. Now elaborate this one. Elaborate this one. Tan. Please don't forget, give importance to the angle, given angle you are supposed to find. Therefore, this is going to be opposite side to A over adjacent side to A. Okay, so what is the value? Just plug in the values. What is the opposite? Opposite means please don't forget to draw this kind of arrows that eliminates a lot of mistakes. So here it is 45, and what is adjacent means I see that this one is 75. Then tan A equals to this one. Very important thing is while computing the angle, while computing the missing angle, this is slightly different. This step is really important for you to remember. Here you move A here, and whatever the fraction or decimal is there, you take to the other side. When you do this jugglery part, then it is tan 45 over 75 equals to A. Just I swapped these values. Okay, and in this process, what you have to do is, this is the most important thing, that is you have to keep inverse. This is tan to the power of -1, but you need not read that way. So it is tan inverse. Now let's see how to figure out this value. Tan inverse 45 over 75. So let's quickly jump to Desmos. Then let me close this one. So tan, then how to get the inverse symbol means make use of the keypad at the left bottom, and use this A to the power of B key. Use A to the power of B key. Once again, I'm repeating, left bottom, you see that keypad symbol. Then when you click on that, it will pop up. Use A to the power of B, then type -1 using your keypad, and don't type whatever the decimal or fraction is there. Instead, go to the functions, and below that there is a right arrow key. If you click it, then you'll be coming out of the exponent. If you don't do that, what happens is, let me type 45. Do you see that? It's going to the exponent. If I don't want that to happen, So use this right arrow key and preferably use parenthesis 45 over 75, then close the parenthesis. Okay, you see that 30.96. Okay, so let me plug in the value here, 30.96, or else approximately you can take that 31 degrees. That's the value of angle A. Approximately this is 31 degrees. We are done. Coming to the next question. Here I see that 45 feet and this one is 85 feet, right? So let me identify the sides first. I see that this is opposite and this is hypotenuse and the leftover is the adjacent. To avoid the confusion, let me knock out what is not required. I know that here opposite there is nothing to do here because we have to deal with the other two sides. So it is adjacent, adjacent, and then hypotenuse, adjacent and hypotenuse. Then write Sohcahtoa, Sohcahtoa. Therefore, where do I find adjacent and hypotenuse? Here, no. Adjacent and hypotenuse, yes. Adjacent and hypotenuse, no. Therefore, I have to go with cos, right? So, what's the angle here? Don't forget, this is really very important. So, it is Sohcahtoa. So, CAH. So, cos R equals to, please elaborate, adjacent side to angle R over hypotenuse. Now plug in the values. Cos angle R equals to adjacent side. Already I labeled this one as adjacent, which is 45 over what is hypotenuse. You see that here it is 85 units. It's 85 units. Don't forget, when you are finding the angle, you have to take the angle to the other side and you have to move the value to this side. So what happens is when you swap these values, cos, then the fraction is 45 over 85 equals to the angle goes to the other side. And don't forget, at this point you have to use this inverse symbol. Now this value is to be entered on the Desmos. So cos inverse, let me minimize this one so that I'll get more space. So cos inverse 45 over 85. So let me clear the screen. Don't forget how to get the keypad means on the left bottom. You see that when you click on that, then this one will pop up. So COS, I'm using my keyboard and the exponent is inverse. So please, not a square, you have to use a to the power of b. Then type -1. Don't forget to come out of the exponent by using the right arrow key. Use parentheses. My bad, I forgot the fraction, 45 over 85. Okay, so it is 45 over 85, then close the parenthesis. Still you see that 58.03. So it is 58.03. So let me write the same value. It is 58.03. That's the value of the angle. So here the next question, I left it for you, but just I'm giving a clue. Always draw the arrow marks to identify what it is. I see that this is opposite, and you are asked to find angle L. You see that asked to find angle L, right? Then this is opposite, and I know that the longest side is the hypotenuse, and this one is adjacent. And I personally prefer to strike which is not required, so that I can focus what are the other two sides, then I can choose the correct trig ratio to figure it out. Okay, you may try this on your own, then you may pause the video, find it, and I'll disclose the answer just now. So you pause the video and compute it on a piece of paper and check your answer. The value of angle L, I found that 37.86 degrees. You can round it to 38 degrees. Oops, my bad. It is 38 degrees approximately. Hope you also got the same answer. That's it for this review part.